You're listening to the Master Passive Income Podcast Network. Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. This is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you quit your JOB, that just overbroke job, by investing in real estate. And in today's show, I am super pumped to share with you if there is ever a recession, or I would say when there is a recession, you need to be protected, and I'm going to give you every single step of the way because there will be a correction in the economy at some point in your life, and you need to be ready to gobble up all the amazing cash flowing properties, and I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Master Passive Income Podcast, where we talk about investing in real estate with a special focus on making enough money so you can quit your job and live the dream life. And now, here is your host, Dustin Heiner.
What's up? What's up? Super blessed as always to have you here with me on the show. Now, I got to say, yes, every single time recently for the last, maybe a couple of years, I've been saying that. I am blessed to have you here with me on the show. And that is literally the exactly how I feel. I'm very blessed that you're a part of this process of you investing in real estate and having or allowing me to be a part of it. I just absolutely love when I get people commenting, let's say they find me on Instagram, they say, hey, Dustin, because of your podcast, I started investing in real estate, or they send me an email or something like that. And if you do want to find me on Instagram, it's THE Dustin Heiner. You'll find me pretty easily. But yes, reach out to me. I want to hear about your investing. And so yes, I'm very blessed to have you here because this is really how I get fulfillment in life. I don't really need to make any more money. I'm very blessed to have lots of stuff. And now it's like, how do I help more people? Now, this episode, I'm super pumped. And honestly, you absolutely need to be ready for if and when there is a correction. And honestly, it's no longer that you should invest in real estate. Now, when I say that, means for the last, 10 years of my podcast. Have I really been doing this for 10 years? Oh my goodness, I've been podcasting for 10 years. So yes, for the last 10 years, I've been saying you should invest in real estate for financial freedom, for generational wealth, for cash flow every single month, for tax benefits. Like, you should invest in real estate. But honestly, it is no longer that you should invest in real estate. It's that you must invest in real estate because the world is changing. The world is changing, the economy is changing, and things will eventually happen. It might not be this month, it might not be this year, it might not be next year, but eventually it will happen because I'm not a prophet from the Lord telling you, hey, it's going to happen like tomorrow or next week, but it will happen. And it's proven history. Markets do not always go up. In fact, markets pop as a bubble and they crash, just like in 2001 with the .com, 2008 with the real estate market, all the subprime loans and everything. And then we're looking at AI right now. AI is now taking over lots of jobs, and there's so much money being pumped into the stock market that is now building up all these AI companies where they're like astronomical valuations, which means they're not worth what they are going for, like the price per share, like $1,000 a share when their revenue is like maybe $100 a share. So here's what I'm telling you. Is that I want you to be 100% ready for when something happens. And even though AI valuations on companies are just crazy right now, which it could eventually burst as a bubble, and then that's going to bring down the economy. But AI is now taking over people's jobs. There are so many companies that are laying off programmers because AI now does all the work. But on top of that, there's something going on that you must know about. So in June 2026, there is a new law that was passed. Obviously, well, you probably know I'm not a big fan of any government at all. It seems like they just keep taking money from the people. I'm much more of a libertarian type of person. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. But they passed something which, take it for what it's worth. I'm just going to give you an idea of what it is. So it's the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. Now, what it does is it caps institutional investors like big companies at 350 single family homes, 350 single family homes, and blocks them from buying more once they're over that limit. Now, one workaround, they could easily just create another LLC, another company, and that's a different entity. So that's a workaround, but not all of them are doing that. So combined with rising costs in the home, like higher property taxes, inflated purchase prices, higher insurance, and rents have even starting to dip down. Large landlords, these big companies that have thousands of units, are now dumping their inventory like really, really fast. They're now putting them on the list for sale. And listings from these investors more than doubled since January and February, from 4,000 to now 9,500 properties that they're trying to get rid of these properties at really low prices, because they call them underperforming assets. Basically, they bought a property that's not making them money. So they're like, we're losing money. We got to sell this property. And so they are now selling. Now, and here are a few companies that are named as like the main sellers: Progress Residential, First Key, Vinebrook, Invitation Homes, Amherst, and all these others that are like this. They're described as being the most aggressive sellers. And a lot of them are even selling like 10% of their portfolio. So if they're having 1,000 units, or properties, they're going to sell 100 of those. Or if they have 10,000, they're going to sell 1,000 of those. But they're starting to sell these, and it's getting started. Now, new home sales are also really, really weak. Now, but before I get any further, this might be sounding kind of dire, like, oh, they're selling. This is what I'm talking about. When there's problems in the economy, people who don't know what they're doing, or getting over leveraged, which means borrowing way too much money, or not buying cash flowing properties like I teach you how to do, they're going to be caught when the water rolls out, like the tide rolls out. They're going to be caught with their pants down, metaphorically speaking. Like, they're not making money. And so you and we're going to be making money because we don't buy a property unless we get cash flow. And even though new home sales are weak now, they're down year over year. And they had a June uptick just because that's the time of year of that most houses kind of sell. But they are sitting on the market so long, and I've seen price cuts of like $50,000 to $100,000. In fact, I am buying properties, and I found a property. They're asking $240,000. We put in an offer for $130,000 because that's how much we could rent it for. That make us money. Basically, you buy it, and then we can now rent it for $1,300, and that's the only way we can make money is if we buy it at a lower price. The seller came back and said, we still owe $165,000. We need to at least get that. I'm like, great. I know what number I got to get to. So we're going to be picking this thing up for $165,000 when it's worth $240, because people are starting to have problems. They're also seeing that properties are sitting on the market longer. So there's more inventory. It's supply and demand. And what I'm trying to tell you is, when you invest and when there is a crash, two things have to happen. Number one, you need to be ready for the crash, which means you have to have access to capital. And I'll get into all more of this. I'm just giving you a broad overview right now in the episode today. But you need to be ready for this. But you also need to be investing for cash flow. You need to be making money every single month. And for us as investors, this is all exciting. Like, if there is a crash, if there is a recession, if everything goes bad, well, we have our investments. We have tangible things. There are 4 things that somebody needs in life. These are necessities. Like, you cannot go without them: food, water, shelter, and clothing. Those are the 4 necessities of life. We have one of those. We have one of those things. People have to live somewhere. So if people are losing their jobs because of layoffs and economy's bad, well, then they lose their house, sadly, in foreclosure. Well, that gives us more properties to buy, but then also more tenants that want to rent our properties. So in 2008, when people were going bankrupt with that crash, I didn't. I made more money because I was investing for cash flow, and I had more people to rent the property. Rents went up, which is absolutely amazing. So I want you to realize that there is going to come a time where you're going to be seeing, oh my goodness, Dustin was 100% right. There's something going on, or there is, like, everybody's selling right now in real estate. Now is the best time to be picking up properties, because now they're a fire sale. Like, they're selling for, instead of $300,000, now they're selling for $150,000 because people need to sell. That's when you need to be ready to scoop all these up. And that's what this episode is all about. And I want to pause for a quick second and share that honestly, I really want you to invest in real estate. Now, my new goal is to help 1 million people invest in real estate. So 2 things I would ask from you. Number 1, if you get anything out of this episode, please share it with somebody else. Just say, hey, check out Dustin and Master Passive Income. He really wants to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to get you to invest in real estate. Get my real estate investing course absolutely for free. Text the word rental, RENTAL, to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my course, show you how to find an area of the country to invest, how to build the business first. I always talk about that, and how to find the right properties, how to make sure you're getting experts to do the work for you, and scale the business to where you're making $250 or more in passive income. Scale it to quit your job. I'll literally get to you, or go to masterpassiveincome.com/free course. Obviously, it'll be in the description, but I really, really want you to invest in real estate, because the more that actual, normal, everyday people own real estate, the better everybody's life gets. In the times of growth and times of plenty, where we're all fat and happy, everything's going great, the economy's booming, we're just, money's just... It seems like everything is perfect, everything's going great, but I'm old enough now to have seen a couple different cycles where, like in 2008 and 2001, those are the ones I mostly remember, when there was a lot of big changes and people were really hurting and the economy is really, really bad. I remember those. And it wasn't like the Great Depression. That was horrible. Hopefully, Lord willing, we'll never get another one of those. But those people that grew up in the Great Depression, they were savers. They literally did not throw any away. They became hoarders. That's a negative term, but they would literally hold on to their money, hold on to their possessions, and just reuse things or fix things. Whereas now, we've been so fat and happy everywhere, especially in America. We have been so fat and happy with how much we have, possession-wise. We could literally just throw something away, order on Amazon, get it 2 days later. Now, what's interesting about a recession, what's going to happen with us, is the things that you implement now in your life will help you when a recession comes. And I want to go through a few things that will help you in a recession time. Now, let's go through a few things. Well, number 1, you absolutely learn how to make money without working, without counting on somebody else. And that's with the real estate rental properties. I make $250 or more every single month in passive income from my properties, which is absolutely amazing. After 30 plus properties, you do the math. We're blessed. We have plenty of money. Some of my properties, I'm making like $450, $500, $600, up to $600 on a property, because if I own it outright, that's just that much more money. So what I'm suggesting is you do start buying real estate. You do start buying investments that bring you money. Now, people might say, well, if people are losing their job, how are they going to pay the rent? I'm like, yeah, you're absolutely right. The sad thing is, they're going to have to move out. They're going to have to find someplace cheaper, or you can do Section 8 or something. We'll eventually figure it out, but your property's still there. You still have that property. When that person moves out of that, the tenants move out, you'll get somebody else in that does have a job, and eventually the market comes back. And so another reason why Master Passive Income, we're so big on buying lower priced homes. We don't want to buy $400,000 homes and keep them as rentals, because that mortgage is literally going to eat you alive. If you have a $400,000, let's just even lower, $250,000 mortgage, that's going to be about, what is that, like $1,200, $1,300 a month? Well, if you're only making $100 a month in passive income, that's $1,200 1 month, the $1,200 a year, 1 month out of the entire year that it's not rented. There goes all your passive income. So what we do here at Master Passive Income, we have systems. We build systems. We have a business process and a business plan to buy properties that make us $250 a month in certain key areas of the country, far away from us. We have other people do the work, and we make it automatic. So that's what's great about real estate and rental properties, is you're going to be making money all the time. Like over and over again, you're going to be making money every single month. And the reason why is because they have to have a place to live. So my strong suggestion, the first thing, is to solidify your income. We want to make sure that we have a stable, solid income, where income is going to keep coming in whether we work or not. God forbid you actually get sick and you're in the hospital and you can't work for a month, 2 months, or whatever it might be. You're still going to be able to make money. Like, I know that if anything did happen to me, my family's still taken care of. I don't need to be making the money because my business is making the money, and my wife will just literally pick it up. And well, she doesn't do it. I don't do anything. I work 30 minutes a month, just like reviewing the statements. That's all she'll need to do. And then she can get right back to homeschooling and all that good stuff. So first one is get stable income in real estate and rental properties and ensure that your life is recession proof. A big one is having an emergency fund. Having an emergency fund where you are ready for worst case scenarios. God forbid you lose your job. I literally was laid off from my job, and I was blessed to get another job pretty quickly, but I did not have a good emergency fund when I did. Like I said, I was blessed to get another job pretty quickly, but not everybody is able to jump into another job or have money, coming in from other ways other than our job. And so what we want to do is develop an emergency fund. My suggestion is get to 1 to 3 months of your expenses saved up. Now, I'm blessed where I have plenty of money saved up. I literally have lots of cash set aside so that, if there's any issues, like if all of my rental properties literally got blown up, like God forbid that happen, my family's going to be okay for at least, 3, 4, 5 months, just because we have that emergency fund. So I strongly suggest getting emergency fund. And emergency fund also is in case you have a big hit, like your car gets broken down or broken into. But let's say it gets broken down and you need to fix it up. Well, we don't want to go into debt. We don't want to go into debt to fix up that car, and an emergency fund will help you to not go into debt. That's the last thing we want, is to go into debt. So number one, have an emergency fund. Another big one is I love, and if you guys listen to this show other than like once or twice, you'll know how frugal I am. I strongly suggest everybody right now, even though there's so much things going on right now, when the economy picks back up, try to start living well below your means, not just in your means or within your means. Live well below your means. And I'll give you a huge example from my own life. Like I'm literally walking the walk or walking the talk. Is that how you say it? One of the two. I'm walking the walk. I'm actually living in a 1,250 square foot house. It was one of my rental properties. The tenants were moving out, and we were in California. This was in Arizona, close to my in-laws. And we thought, let's get out of California. It's expensive there, and all those other reasons, but let's get close to your parents. So my wife's parents, so that our kids can get to know them. And my tenants were moving out. This was 3 years ago. And we moved in thinking, okay, we're going to move in, and then we're going to look for another house that's bigger. This is going to get us there quickly. Well, we moved in there, and as I've been watching the market, I realized I could absolutely go out and buy a property right now. I could go buy a 3,000 square foot house somewhere, or I could, build a house, or I could do all that stuff. But I realized the market for personal home ownership is really, really high right now. Now, rental properties, my students are buying properties all the time, all over the country, and making at least $250 a month. So it's absolutely the right time to investing when you're investing for cash flow. Even though I have plenty of money, I have plenty of money coming in, I just know eventually something's going to happen where I'm going to need a little bit of extra money, where that extra money that I have coming in from my paycheck over and above my expenses, then that is actually going to help tide me over. And so when, like, let's say, for instance, God forbid you get laid off and you get another job where it's like maybe half the amount of money that you used to make. Well, that is going to be very, very hard. Now, I would strongly suggest doing that now, living below your means right now and saving every single penny that you're saving from living below your means. Do that, set it aside for investing, get an emergency fund, live below your means, and set that money aside for investing. Now, another way to recession-proof your life would be to create additional income. Find ways to make more money. Now, like I said, in Successfully Unemployed, my podcast, if you just search for Successfully Unemployed on any podcast app, you'll literally find it. But I've interviewed different business owners, entrepreneurs, side hustle experts, all that sort of stuff. I want to show you how to do that. So go listen to those podcast episodes. But there are so many ways to get additional income. It could be literally driving for Uber or Lyft. It could be, the food delivery service. You could start a business. I even interviewed a taco truck vendor. There's so many other ways to make money that you need to figure out a way to make money, to bring money in. It could even be renting out one room of your house and making a little extra money. Finding ways to get additional income. Now, for me, additional income is great because I save that for investing so I could buy more properties. But also, all that savings is for when there's a recession, when there's something that's really going to hit the economy. That's going to make everything bad. We want to be protected. We want to be able to weather those storms, not necessarily say we're still going to take, luxurious trips or anything like that, which honestly, when the market's down or the economy's down, that's the best time to go because less people will be there, which is good, less traveling with crazy people. And at the same time, it's going to be cheaper. So, you definitely can. But this is going to help us to be able to get through those ups and downs in the economy because it'll go up and it'll go back down, and then it'll go up and then it'll go back down. That's just the way the economy works. That's just the life cycle. So you want to have additional income. Find a way to get additional income. Also, you want to look at your tolerance for risky type of things. Like if you're risk averse, buying stock in a really volatile stock would probably not be the best. I can't really give you a huge example because I'm not a big stock guy, but another risky one would be flipping a house. If somebody is literally flipping a house right now, they bought a house maybe 2 months ago. Right now, the COVID-19 is going on. Nobody's getting out of their house. Nothing's working on their properties. They're probably worried about selling that house in the near future. Or is the market going to stay high? Like their risk is like, oh my goodness, we had a lot of risk tolerance where we can actually buy a property, fix it up, flip it, or try to sell it to make more money and be okay if the economy comes down. Well, I'm optimistic. They might be thinking, I'm optimistic. Everything's going to be great. Economy never goes down. We're going to keep making money. This is going to be perfect. Well, tell that to those people in 2009 where the recession hit, or the crash in the market and everything hit, and then from there you literally saw people losing everything. So tell that to them. So you need to also think about your risk tolerance. Like take a little money off the table. Like let's say you're going gambling. You walk into a casino. I'm doing my little Homer Simpson type of noise. You're walking into a casino with $100. Well, you walk in, you put it on the table to bet $100. Now, if you lose all that $100, well, it's gone. It's literally gone. But what if you win? So let's say you put $100 on the table and you win $50. Well, maybe pull $50 out so you're still in with your own money. You're still playing with $100, but only 50 of it is what you walked in with. So you have pocketed a little bit of that profit. Or you pulled your money off the table. Let's say you made $100. So you, instead of only having $100, you're up to $200. Well, then take your entire principal, basically all your money off the table, put it in your pocket so you won't walk away with $0. Instead of letting it all ride, put it all on black and let it ride, $200, and then you lose it and it's all gone. Why not pull that aside, put it in your pocket and say, at least I'm walking out with some of my money back. And now you're just playing with the house's money. That's what they call the casino's money. When you win, you're playing with the house's money. So I was telling my dad, encouraging him back in December. Now, obviously hindsight, I'd been telling this for maybe 2 years, but December when I actually told him, I said, hey dad, right now might be a good time. This is when the stock market was really, really high. Hey dad, it might be a good time to take a little profit, take a little off the table. There's a great saying. I love it. It says, bears make money, bulls make money, but hogs get slaughtered. Bears, they're the ones that think economy's going to go down always. Let's place bets accordingly. Or bulls, everything's going to keep going up. Let's place bets accordingly. But hogs, like I'm just going to keep making money no matter what. Well, they get slaughtered. And so if you leave your money in there for too long, eventually it's going to get slaughtered. But here's the thing. I suggest pulling a little money off the table if it's like the stock market, if it's mutual funds or something like that. So you got to know your risk tolerance. Now in real estate, in rental properties, oh my goodness, our risk tolerance is so high. Like I don't want risk. When I invest in rental properties, I try to take every risk out as possible. Because what is great is I will know within maybe 5% or let's say $100 or less. I know how much my expenses are going to be with every single rental property that I buy. I also know how much my income is going to be with every single rental property I buy. And with the principles that I tell and teach everybody inside the Ultimate Real Estate Investing System and the membership, everything that I tell everybody is how you're going to make $250 a month with every single property. We need to find properties that give us $250 a month. And when we do that, we're going to realize that, oh man, I still make money no matter what. And I'm not risking anything because I know I'm going to make money. I know somebody's going to need a place to rent, so I know how to price it accordingly. I know that my mortgage is X dollars. I know my property manager is going to charge this amount. I know that this is going to be another expense. Well, you add all this up and tack on $250 on top of your expenses. If your income is above that number, then you are making money. So people like us, and what's interesting, it kills me when people say, well, it's so risky investing in real estate. I'm like, this is the least risky thing that you can possibly do. Worst case scenario, you still have the land. Let's say a hurricane comes through and it tears out, God forbid, hopefully you have insurance when something happens like that, but you'll still literally have the land. The land is what you own. Now you got to pay taxes, obviously, but if the hurricane comes up and takes that, you're going to pay a lot less in taxes because it just lands. Long story short, this is the least risky. Real estate is the least risky investment way to make money in the history. Real estate's been around literally since the dawn of time. Real estate's been around, and people have made money off of real estate, either farming or people living on it, whatever it might be. You're going to make money every single day if you own real estate. And that's why I talk about this being the most recession-proof. Real estate investing, rental property investing is the most recession-proof business or way to make money you can ever hope for. Now, there are some certain cases. Let's say your tenants go out, they lose their job. If they lose their job, then that's too bad. They have to move out, and then you get somebody else in there. Well, let's say that everything gets, totally sideways. You still own the property. You still own it as long as you are able to pay your mortgage and everything like that, which and the Ultimate Real Estate Investing System and all my students, I teach you how to make sure we cover for all these problems that potentially could come up. As long as you have property, you can still make money. And even when everybody is locked inside their house, restaurants aren't making money because people aren't coming out. Events are being canceled. Flights are being canceled. Cruise lines are being canceled. Businesses are shutting down because nobody's spending money. Our real estate rental properties, it's amazing. They make money whether we work or not, whether the economy's working or not, whether the market is doing good or not. In an up, down, or sideways market, we are always going to make money because the real estate rental properties, it's a recession-proof business. You're going to make money no matter what. Okay, moving on. Now, another thing that you're going to hear a lot of people say is diversify your investments. Now, I don't disagree with diversifying. In fact, I diversify by not buying stocks, real estate, paintings, or fancy cars or whatever. I diversify by buying in different areas of the country. So in case one entire area gets destroyed by, God forbid, a hurricane or a flood like I have in Texas and Houston, I've had that happen to me before. And even though there are problems in certain areas, I have diversified all over the country so that I have money coming in from all over the country. And so if one area gets hit, no, I'm diversified. Now, Warren Buffett is a fantastic stock guru. He actually is fantastic at that. And what he said, and I think, at least I read this quote about him. If it's not his quote, then oh well, then I won't ascribe it to him. But what I've heard him say is that diversifying is for people who don't know what they're doing. And what he's meaning is if somebody is buying in the stock market and they're diversifying by buying, by American stocks, Japanese stocks or Mexico stocks, whatever, like they're diversifying all over the country, or they're diversifying different sectors, like this is manufacturing, this is internet, this is this, and they're diversifying their portfolio all around. Well, what Warren Buffett is saying, if you don't know what you're doing, then yeah, that's how you diversify. So you stop as much loss coming out of your pocket. But if you know what you're doing, you know that you're going to be making money with these investments, why would you diversify? Like, why would I literally take my money out of real estate where I make so much money and put it into a stock market where I know I'm horrible at it. I don't know what I'm doing. I literally suck at it. So like I said, I buy high and I sell low. And so I don't put my money there because diversifying, I'll just be making less money or possibly losing money. So when we diversify, what I talk about is diversifying where you are investing. Now, a lot of people might ask me, well, Dustin, when do I move on to a different area? I say, well, you will know. You will absolutely know, and it'll feel right to you. Hey, I have 8 properties in this one area. It's time for me to move on. Or 10 properties, or 12, or 80. Whatever it might be, you're going to realize it'll literally hit you. You know what? It's time for me to build up in a new area. For me, I want to say it was about 14 or 15. maybe less, maybe 12. I was like, you know what? Let me start looking in another area because I have this area down. As soon as a property comes up, I already know what's a good property. I can buy it. Let me start building another business in another area of the country. So when you diversify, you want to diversify in different areas of the country. Don't just settle in one city, let alone one state or one area. You want to diversify all around. Another thing you want to do is also with keeping your life being recession proof is try to keep your credit score high. In the good times, it's easy to get credit. In the hard times, it's almost impossible to get credit or, to borrow money. And the reason why is they only lend money to people. Banks only lend money to people who really don't need it necessarily. Now, if you really, really need it, and this is your last case scenario to, save your life, save your business or whatever, they're not going to lend it to you because they don't want to be the last case scenario. They don't want to, risk losing that money. They're going to give it out when it's beneficial to them. And so in 2008, 9, it was 10, it was really hard to get any loans because banks were so scared about giving money out or lending money out. And unless you literally had the best credit score, lots of money saved up, and the investment was perfect. And that was really hard. So right now, in the good times, get your credit score higher. And everything I've talked about also is on top of that. I think you should also try your best to be frugal. Try your best to spend as little money as possible on certain items. Now, there are things that you can absolutely, go lavish on because they really value, or you value it. Let's say it's, cappuccino, you value that, then go on that. But other things, or spend more money on that. But other things that aren't necessarily, maybe look a couple other internet searches to find it cheaper someplace else, or find a knockoff, or go on Facebook Marketplace to actually look for buying it used. You could absolutely do that. In fact, I'm literally selling right now on Facebook Marketplace a twin bed that I bought. So we had to do, it wasn't that's not a duplex. It's a bunk bed for the kids, for the boys. And the top part literally fell apart. And so the mattress almost fell on my younger boy Xander, almost fell on him. Kind of did, but kind of not. But anyways, he's fine. And anyways, I took off the top part and I need to sell the mattress. The mattress is still fantastic. The kids barely even slept on it. Put a mattress pad cover on it and everything. And I bought it for $150. It's a really good, memory foam one. But I thought, what I could do? I can actually sell this on Facebook Marketplace. So somebody's going to come pick it up, I think later today or tomorrow, for $60. And it's still just like a brand new mattress, literally no stains whatsoever. And it's a great shape, but you buying, why not look at other places to where you can save money? Now that's saving money, buy it on Facebook Marketplace, save whatever money you can so that you're going to be frugal. And in that frugality, it'll lend into you saving money to buy properties. On top of that, when things start to go bad or there's a recession, you're going to have that built into your life so that you will actually inherently spend less money because you're more frugal and you're realizing that. So that's another thing. So get your credit score high, keep it high. You want to be frugal as well. You want to save for investing. Now, all this stuff I actually teach in huge, huge detail in a course I just created that's in part of the membership as well. And you'll get a part of that when you're in the membership. You'll get into that course as well. But it's your first investment. And I teach all about how to get out of debt, how to make more money, how to save more money, how to increase your credit score, basically how to do everything with your finances to be rich and save to $10,000 so that you absolutely can buy your first property. That's called Your First Investment. And I have that course already ready. And that is it for today. Go ahead and get my free real estate investing course. Text the word rental to 33777. RENTAL to 33777. You can also join my Real Estate Wealth Builders group coaching. Get all my courses. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next show. See ya.